as of right now, looking at the roster, seeing what I've seen, I see the potential, but I don't think they're a top 3 team in the country right now. I think they can get there.
That's fair. And let's talk about that third base position. I saw some of your videos and some of your coverage. You were talking about Michael Braswell being at that third base spot. Is that for sure? Is that locked? And just kind of talk about how important that role is to their defense and just, how much change could really be around if they go in that direction. I feel like Braswell is one of my biggest watches, right? He's a pure athlete. I feel like he's your utility guy. What did he play shortstop last year?
Yes. Yep. Every day
So what's that
shortstop.
switch like?
So it's not solidified yet, and they're doing a lot of moving around. Like, I've got to keep my eye open because sometimes they'll have Milam at short, Braz at third, and then the next inning they'll go Milam at third, Braz at short. Daniel Dickinson, I'll say this, he's the guy they got from Utah Valley. He's one of those really good transfers. Like, everybody wanted him, and if he has the season that they expect him to have, he'll go pro next year. He's locked into second base, I think. He's been playing there a lot. I think Milam's moving to the left side of the infield because Jay Johnson wants his best defender in the position where most of the balls are going to go, which is the left side. So it's just a matter of, is Milam going to play third or short? And I think he's going to end up at shortstop. But there is a caveat to that. You mentioned Braswell. I didn't really know this until the other day when we talked to him. He had knee tendonitis in both of his knees last year for the first half of the season. And then out of nowhere, he flipped the switch. He hit better. He was fielding better. And this was the second half of the season. Of course, that insane game against South Carolina and Hoover when he hit the game-winning RBI and stuff, that's when he was playing his best, and it's because he was fully healthy. He's still healthy, and he's feeling the best that he has at LSU. He said he's ready for his best season yet. So I wonder, fully healthy, if some of the struggles he had fielding at shortstop last year were because of those injuries, and if he's in a situation where he can play better at that spot. But Milam, you can't dispute the athleticism, the playmaking ability, his lateral quickness. Like, he makes some insane plays, man, getting a grounder, gloving it to second base, like stuff you see pros do all the time. He's already done as a freshman and will do as a sophomore. So I don't think you can go wrong wherever you put him. You want him in the spot where he's going to make the most plays. And I think that could be at shortstop, just based on, like, literally plays you don't see people make, the unique things that he can do with his glove, with his hands, and then just the quickness that he has, almost like a running back, how he's able to stutter, shuffle, move. The one thing he's got to continue to show me and other people, I think there are people that were getting on me on X yesterday, his throw power, his ability to throw cross diamond from short. I don't think it's a problem, but that is a different dynamic throwing from second, which is shorter, versus across on that side. So it's not solidified. I would expect to see Milam on the left side of the infield, though.
Okay. Milam, he reminds me of Jose Altuve, man. He's got that good defensive ability, but then he got that yappa. He can still take a yard. He got a good mindset, go yard mentality, man. The little man's strength. The three guys I'm watching, you named pretty much all three of them. Obviously, Jared Jones, first baseman, hit 301 last year. The Chapel Hill series, 538. Seemed like he just put the team on the back for a little bit. Monster Milam, fan favorite. Like I said, Altuve, go yard mentality. Then Michael Braswell. I just feel like there's something about him. They got some type of ability you just don't see often. Reminds me of a guy like Trey Morgan. I just feel like he's going to be a good piece to this team. So if you had to make a prediction, John, where would you predict LSU baseball finishing and how is the year end for them?
I could see them getting to Omaha. I think it's a more favorable schedule this year. Last year, when they started SEC play, they played like the best teams right off the bat. This year, you play non-conference, and then you get to start with Missouri, a team that's typically, and it's at home, not one of the better teams in the SEC. Everybody's decent, but, they're beatable. It's not Mississippi State on the road or
right.
Tennessee on the road in Knoxville like they had to do last year. Then they get Texas. They're new to the SEC. They beat them last year, LSU did, so we'll see what happens there. Then you got MSU at home, at Oklahoma. So it's not bad. Auburn, who you beat last year a couple times. It's not a bad schedule. It's not heavy at the front. And I think by the time they play these better teams, Tennessee, A&M in May, Arkansas in May, that will be the best version of LSU baseball. So it's going to be flipped around, I think. They're going to find their stride quicker than they did last year. So I think they can get there. I talked to Ben McDonald at their first pitch banquet. He thinks they have what it takes to get there. And I know he's an LSU alum and does the games for them. And he might be a little biased, but like that's a guy that played in the major leagues for years. I mean, I'm going to trust his opinion for sure. I think they can get there. I just have my questions right now. Where does the offense come from? Pitching. This is an underrated topic people have not talked about. Luke Holman, drafted. They had the most pitchers drafted off last year's team that they've ever had. Gage Jump, they're Friday and Saturday guys, gone. Who steps up? Chase Shores is a guy people like to think will step up, but he's had his struggles in preseason and in the fall. It's not a lock that he's going to come in and be a Friday night guy and dominate, kind of like Thatcher Hurd last year. Everybody thought Thatcher Hurd was going to come back and be the alpha, and he really wasn't. Now, he ended his career well, but he wasn't what people thought he would be. Cade Anderson's looked really good, but he's only a sophomore. He hasn't really been in the bright lights, big game, extended start situation yet. So I've got my questions right now, and I think they're fair questions, but I do think Jay Johnson, the excellent coach that he is, will find the solutions over the course of the season and have this team playing winning baseball when it matters most, which is in May and June.
Yep. Jay Johnson, the Mad Hatter, mad scientist in the kitchen whipping it up right now. I believe. I hope they host one, because
that'd be cool.
The pitching struggles you were talking about last year, if that comes back, then you're going to have a lot of fans worrying, because in the initial parts of the baseball season, everybody was wondering, where was LSU baseball at? They got used to that instant success.
Right. Yeah, the pitching last year was top heavy. They didn't have a Sunday starter. You know, they would bring different guys out each week and they would just get bombed and the game was over by the fourth inning. The bullpen had its struggles. They've got a really good collection of talent this year. They brought in some starters from smaller schools. They've got a lot of intriguing pieces there. They bring back some guys from last year that played a little bit, showed some flashes. So they're deep. But I don't think they're top heavy this year. They're going to have to find their starters. I think they got plenty of options in the bullpen. But like I said about the offense, Jacob, this might be one of those teams where it's a lot of hands getting involved and it's piecing things together. It's not Paul Skeens, Dylan Cruz, Trey Morgan, college baseball superstars. It's kind of like Moneyball. It's just a lot of guys that have specific responsibilities and they do their job well and they execute. And when you put that all together on a consistent basis, you've got a great team. And I think that's how it's going to be this season.
I agree. It's a good way to start it off, right? Just have your role, fixate on your job, do the little things, and then it'll carry you into a potential Omaha tourney run. I'm looking forward to it.